Astrology of July 2017. Get ready for the unexpected. July is a very important month which will prepare us for the great total solar eclipse of the Sun on August 21st. The total eclipse of the Sun takes place at 28 degrees Leo, and this degree is heavily triggered in July by several transits. We have indeed a lot of action at the 28th degree of the zodiac. Chiron turns retrograde at 28 Pisces. Uranus at 28 Aries makes a record number of aspects to Mercury, a square and a trine, a square to Mars, and a square to the Sun. Because so many planets are in Cancer and Leo, we also have an excess of fire and water modality in July. This combination can make us lose our cool, and because Uranus is heavily aspected, you can expect unexpected turns of events, unanticipated decisions, and great insights. But let's have a look at the most important aspects of the month. July 1st. July starts on a very intense note with the retrograde station of Chiron, the wounded healer. Chiron turns retrograde at 28 degrees Pisces, the degree of the total solar eclipse on the 21st of August, setting the tone for what we are going to expect in the coming months. Chiron's message is simple, but not necessarily easy. We need to learn to accept ourselves with all our scars and imperfections. We need to learn to live with the wholeness of ourselves, with the good and with the bad. Chiron reconnects and heals what has been separated or broken apart. We have a natural tendency to shy away from pain, from what we think is the unwanted or undesirable part of yourself. But when Chiron changes course, it happens twice a year. We cannot hide any more from the truth of who we are. Chiron will ask for authenticity and awareness. Don't resist the process. Otherwise it will indeed be painful. Chiron transits can be amazingly beautiful though, if we open our hearts and trust the universe works in our favor, even if its ways are sometimes mysterious. On the next day, on July 2nd, we have Mars opposition Pluto. This is an extremely intense aspect which is likely to stir us at the deepest level. This transit can create extreme reactions, but if you learn to handle Pluto, it can bring great personal power. You can now remove any obstacle that is preventing you from getting what you want. You are especially affected by this transit if you have planets of angles at 18-degree Cancer or Capricorn, the signs where the opposition takes place, as well as 18 degrees of Aries and Libra. You will also feel this energy strongly if in your natal chart you have an aspect between Mars and Pluto. A good way to handle this energy is to make sure you have a healthy outlet to express it. Any type of sport or physical exercise can be a good outlet. On July 4th, Venus enters Gemini, in the third sign of the zodiac. The goddess of beauty and love becomes more dynamic and curious. After we indulged ourselves into sensorial experiences with Venus in Taurus, now is the time to engage our brain too. Venus in Gemini is the best time to have interesting, captivating conversations and to open our mind to new experiences. If you have Venus in Gemini, you will have your Venus return, which means a new chapter will start for you in matters of love, finance, personal values, and aesthetic expression. Mercury in Cancer squares Uranus at 28 degrees Aries in the same day and will bring us some unexpected news. Pay attention to your emails, to the news you read on social media, because you can get some clues about the general theme of the great total solar eclipse in August. July 5th. Mercury enters Leo. This transit is great for focus and mental stamina. If a project has been draining you of energy during Mercury's stay in Cancer, Mercury in Leo will give you the much-needed mental focus to advance in your project and reach your goals. In addition, the transit favors artistic expression of any kind, especially drama, theater, acting, role-playing, or working with children. In the same day, Sun in Cancer squares Jupiter in Libra at 15 degrees, making you optimistic, possibly over-optimistic, about your prospects. This stands true especially if you have planets at 15 degrees in air signs or water signs. On July 8th, we have the full moon in Capricorn at 17 degrees. This is the most intense full moon of the year, being in tight conjunction to Pluto. This is a challenging full moon because both the sun and the moon are in signs they don't feel very comfortable in, and Pluto sitting just next to the moon will expose all of our insecurities. How much and to which extent this full moon is going to affect you depends on how much you try to resist its influence. If you embrace the energy with awareness, The full moon in Capricorn can be extremely empowering and can help you manifest things that seemed impossible in the past. On July 9th, the opposition between Sun and Pluto becomes exact. If you have planets or angles at 18 degrees in Cancer or Capricorn, this transit will impact you in that area of your chart, or the houses transited by the Sun and Pluto. Irrespective of the house, the transit will bring some sort of struggle in expressing your individuality. In mid-July, more exactly July 10th to July 16th, the sky is pretty uneventful. Time for much-needed rest after such a powerful full moon. Make sure you make the best of this phase by taking some time off to recharge your batteries. July 17th is a very dynamic and in the same time confusing day. We have Venus in Gemini in a square to Neptune at 14 degrees Pisces, and Mars in Cancer in a square to Uranus at 28 degrees Aries. If you are the type of person who likes to be in control, you can find this day quite challenging. If you are an artist, an energy worker, or you have spiritual interests, you can find these transits quite inspiring and empowering instead. July 18th and July 19th, the energy flows easily as we have a trine in air signs between Venus in Gemini and Jupiter in Libra at 15 degrees, and a trine in fire signs between Mercury in Leo and Saturn in Sagittarius at 22 degrees. We will all feel at ease during this time. Any type of communication, exchange with groups, artistic expression is highly favored now. Even the shy ones can have a blast with all this extroverted energy in the air. So if you normally have difficulties in interacting with people, this transit is good news for you. Make sure you go out or make contact with others. We will all benefit from this transit. If you have planets around 15 degrees Aquarius or 22 degrees Leo, you are especially lucky. Get ready for some fireworks on July 20th. Mars enters Leo, one of its favorite signs, and Sun squares Uranus in the same day, again at 28 degrees, creating restlessness and impatience. All these aspects are in fire signs, so expect a lot of intensity and passion. July 21st, Mercury conjuncts North Node at 24 degrees Leo, giving us a very important message about our purpose in this lifetime. Pay attention to any clues, especially if you have planets or angles at 24 degrees Leo. The next weeks will be life-changing for you. July 22nd, Sun enters Leo, encouraging us to take time off for fun. No wonder so many people all over the world, irrespective of culture, are on holidays around this time of the year. This is a good time to be active and enjoy yourself. This is not the type of holiday you want to spend in an ashram, which would be more suitable to your holidays in March when Sun is in Pisces, unless you go there to meet people or do some yoga or something active. Whatever you choose to do, make sure you enjoy yourself as much as you can. On July 23rd, we have the first new moon in Leo at 0 degrees. Yes, this year we are going to have 2 new moons in Leo, and yes, the second one is actually the total solar eclipse I've been writing about. This first new moon in Leo will give us clues about what to expect at the time of the solar eclipse on August 21st, which is probably the most important astrological event of the year. This first new moon is by itself extremely powerful and great for intention setting as it takes place at 0 degrees and is conjunct Mars, the most active planet. 0 degrees is the degree of the magician. Anything is possible now, and the manifesting power of your intentions is extremely strong. Be careful what you wish for. July 24th, Venus in Gemini is in opposition to Saturn in Sagittarius at 21 degrees. And in the same day, Mercury in Leo is trine Uranus in Aries at 28 degrees, again with the 28 degree. Don't let melancholy pull you down. Seek intellectual pursuits instead. This is one of those days when you should let your mind overrule your heart. July 25th, Mercury enters Virgo, the sign of its domicile. In Virgo, Mercury works at its best. Our analytical work becomes very accurate now, and our attention to detail is magnificent during Mercury's transit in Virgo. Mercury starts to slow down, though, as it prepares to turn retrograde mid-August. July 26th, Sun conjunct Mars at 4 degrees Leo. Make sure you direct your energy in a project that is dear to your heart. If you do so, the chances to succeed are very high. July 31st, the month ends with Venus's ingress into the homey sign of Cancer. This is a highly romantic and sensitive transit. Venus in Cancer is also great for spending time with the dear ones. Intimacy and connection are more important than ever, so make sure you make the best of this transit by showing the people you care about how much they mean to you.